A verdict reached in the closely watched trial of Harvey Weinstein, the once powerful Hollywood producer who was charged with 5 felony counts of predatory criminal sexual assault and rape, charges that carry a potential penalty of life in prison. The jury, 7 men and 5 women, have just returned their verdict in a New York City courtroom. That's where Stephanie Gosk is. Stephanie, what do we know?
Well, Kate, Harvey Weinstein has been found guilty of first-degree criminal sexual acts. He's also found guilty of third-degree rape. He has not been found guilty. He is not guilty on the most serious charges in this case, predatory sexual assault. These are the charges that could have carried a sentence of 25 years to life. But this first-degree charge of sexual assault does carry a maximum sentence of up to 25 years.
We are hearing this from state television, confirming that the former Egyptian president, Hosni Mubarak, has died. He was 91. President Mubarak ruled Egypt for 3 decades after being forced from office during the protests that engulfed parts of the Arab world in 2011. He was tried and found guilty of complicity in the killing of protesters during the uprising. Now, that conviction was overturned. He was freed in March 2017.
The coronavirus outbreak continues to spread worldwide, with Iran and Italy getting hit especially hard. Iran's health ministry confirmed a total of 64 cases and at least 12 deaths as of late Monday. That makes Iran the country with the highest number of deaths after China. Elsewhere, Italy announced Monday that 229 patients have been confirmed and 7 have died from the virus. Around 30 others are said to be in critical condition. In the U.S., nearly 20 new cases were reported Monday, bringing the total there to 53. China is reporting a slowdown with some 500 new cases on Monday, the 6th straight day that the reported figure has been below 1,000. The Chinese authorities said as of Monday, the country has nearly 77,700 infections and at least 2,660 deaths.
The small town of Volkmarsen in a state of shock. Festivities soon turned into panic after a car appeared to deliberately drive into a carnival parade procession. Witnesses say the driver ploughed into the crowd about 30 meters into the parade. A German citizen has been arrested on suspicion of attempted homicide. According to police sources quoted by local media, the driver was considerably over the alcohol limit. The motive remains unclear. Authorities are not ruling out a deliberate attack.
US defense officials have revealed the British government's plan to replace its nuclear warheads before ministers had the chance to inform Parliament of the move. Admiral Charles Richard told the Senate that a new warhead was needed in the US, while also referring to the UK initiative.
This effort will also support a parallel replacement warhead program in the United Kingdom, whose nuclear deterrent plays an absolutely vital role in NATO's overall defence posture.
Pentagon officials confirmed that US and UK warheads would share the technology. The British government has refused to be drawn on official intentions despite vocal public support for renewal of the deterrent from the Prime Minister. The Ministry of Defence confirmed it is planning to upgrade the system.
And President Trump is in India for a 2-day visit where he arrived to a massive rally at the world's largest cricket stadium in Ahmedabad. There, he and the First Lady were welcomed by more than 100,000 people, the crowds cheering them on and giving President Trump the biggest rally of his political career. During his trip, the president also announced that the U.S. and India would sign a defense deal for New Delhi that's worth about $3 billion.
Even as President Trump and Prime Minister Modi meet here in New Delhi to have a discussion on a range of bilateral issues, including trade and investment, energy security, defense, and other issues, violent clashes are going on here in New Delhi between supporters and detractors of India's controversial citizenship law, which critics say discriminates against the country's 200 million Muslims. Now, this standoff is the most violent that we've witnessed in the capital ever since the protests began in December. At least one police official has been killed, and the toll continues to rise. Now, President Trump has a range of meetings here today. Earlier today, he visited Mahatma Gandhi's memorial and then conducted that bilateral dialogue with Prime Minister Modi.
There's been a stark message from our highest intelligence agency, who's warned that Australians are facing an unprecedented threat from foreign spies.
It's incredibly rare, Tracy, for the secretive domestic spy organisation to host an on-the-record briefing from its headquarters here in Canberra, which would have to be one of the most secure buildings in the country. But the new Director General of Security wants to step out of the shadows, it seems, as much as possible. Mike Burgess warned of foreign interference and espionage. He said the levels in Australia right now are unprecedented. They are even higher than during the Cold War. He also revealed that ASIO busted a sleeper agent operating quietly in Australia for years.
Sydney's skyline is forever changing. But while the landscape has been constantly shifting, building heights have been capped at the same limit since the 1990s. The City of Sydney Council has a plan to change that.
It's looked at the whole city and it's looked at where we could put height and allow growth, but at the same time protect what's special about our city.
Under the plan, there are 4 areas where buildings will be allowed to go up as high as 330 metres. They are Circular Quay, Town Hall, Wynyard and around Central. Planners have carefully examined the shadows that would be cast over public spaces and limited any height increases in those areas.
Online giant Amazon is under fire from Jewish groups over a new series on its video streaming platform. The show's called Hunters, which the Auschwitz Memorial Museum describes as dangerously foolish over its depictions of the Holocaust. In particular, it's angry over a scene of a human chessboard of Nazis killing Jewish inmates at a death camp, which the museum says is a caricature of people's suffering. The drama stars Al Pacino and centres on the vigilante Nazi hunters of the 1970s, who tracked down hundreds of escaped war criminals who fled to the US. The show's creator, David Weil, is the grandson of a Holocaust survivor. He's defended the chess scene, saying that it was deliberately done to counteract the whitewashing of some of the worst atrocities committed by man. Amazon's been called out before for allowing ethically dubious items linked to the Holocaust to be sold on its website, including T-shirts with a picture of a Nazi executing a Jewish person, and also Auschwitz-themed Christmas decorations.
Dozens of Jakarta neighborhoods are flooded after torrential rains pounded Indonesia's capital, bringing parts of the city to a grinding halt. The latest inundations comes less than 2 months after nearly 70 people were killed in some of the megacity's worst flooding in years. There were no immediate reports of casualties after the latest deluge, but parts of the city ground to a halt as whole neighborhoods were swamped in muddy water while power outages hit some districts. At least 81 neighborhoods were inundated, with a dozen toll roads closed and some commuter train lines shuttered, according to an announcement by Indonesia's disaster mitigation agency.